Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyapadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyapadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari I think someone just tried to get in, but I missed them. Hare Krishna.
Check.
Navaneeth.
Yeah, that's done.
Hare Krishna. Welcome. Navaneeth. Hari Bol. Just missed the kirtan, Prabhuji. Anyway, happy you're here.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. How are you?
I'm nice. Thank you for asking.
Very nice. Welcome. Did you come off a Discord server?
Yep.
Yeah, my friend Bhakta Adam here told me he was talking to somebody and invited them and maybe you were interested. So we're very happy you joined.
Yep.
I'm not sure exactly what he told you, but basically we're just reading Bhagavad Gita and we discuss it. And, we try to go deeper, understand deeper. It's pretty much just a reading, but if you have any questions or anything at any time, you can just say anything. Just say, hey, I got it. Just hold on. You can tell me to stop and we'll just stop and discuss at any time. Otherwise, we're basically just hearing. It's like a hearing meditation.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay. So we're just about to start Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 5. So before we do that, I'm just going to do some invocation mantras, and then we're going to dive right in. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapatam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sarvedam Savadhutam Padajana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitangscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare Mukam karoti vachalang bongong wang hayate girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurun dinatarnam. Hare Krishna. Just so everybody knows, we're broadcasting live from Athens, Ohio, Athens Krishna House. We're in the temple here. ISKCON temple, basically. ISKCON Athens. And this is an every night occurrence by Krishna's mercy. So, okay. Starting with text 5, chapter 15. Nirmana moha jita sanga dosha dhyatma nitya vinivritta kamaha Tvandvaiva mukta sukha dukha sangyar gaschantya mudha padamavyayam tat. Translation. Those who are free from false prestige, illusion, and false association, who understand the eternal, who are done with material lust, who are freed from the dualities of happiness and distress, and who, unbewildered, know how to surrender unto the Supreme Person, attain to that eternal kingdom. Purport. The surrendering process is described here very nicely. The first qualification is that one should not be deluded by pride. Because the conditioned soul is puffed up, thinking himself the Lord of material nature, it is very difficult for him to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One should know by the cultivation of real knowledge that he is not a Lord of material nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Lord. When one is free from delusion caused by pride, he can begin the process of surrender. For one who is always expecting some honor in this material world, it is not possible to surrender to the Supreme Person. Pride is due to illusion, for although one comes here, stays for a brief time, and then goes away, he has the foolish notion that he is the Lord of the world. He thus makes all things complicated, and he is always in trouble. The whole world moves under this impression. People are considering the land, this earth, to belong to human society, and they have divided the land under the false impression that they are the proprietors. One has got to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world. One has got to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world. When one is freed from such a false notion, he becomes free from all the false associations caused by familial, social, and national affections. These faulty associations bind one to this material world. After this stage, one has to develop spiritual knowledge. One has to cultivate knowledge of what is actually his own and what is actually not his own. And when one has an understanding of things as they are, he becomes free from the dual conceptions such as happiness and distress, pleasure and pain. He becomes full in knowledge, then it is possible for him to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 6. Na tadbhasayate suryo na sasanko na pavakaha na gadvana nivartante tadhama paramam mama. Just a quick comment on that last purport. It's pretty amazing actually what Prabhupada's saying right there. He said basically, when one is freed from such a false notion, he becomes free from all the false associations caused by familial, social, and national affections. In other words, people are considering the land to belong to human society, and they have divided the land under the false impression that they are the proprietors. And then he says one has to get out of this false notion that human society is the proprietor of this world. So, I mean, he just basically said, if you just do this one thing, if you get out of this conception that basically the world is meant for us to just enjoy, like we are in charge of it basically, and we're the proprietors. It means we own it. Human society is like, okay, they're naming the land. Okay, this is this country, this is that country. They're drawing, invisible borders and all this basically artificial system of designating this and that. Basically, Prabhupada said, if we can give up this false notion, all faulty associations, we can just drop them, basically. And he said the faulty associations bind one to this material world. And then he said one should cultivate knowledge of what actually belongs to us and what doesn't. And by doing that, we become free from different dualities. So basically what that means is amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, just by, basically it's all a matter of conception. If we think that we own this land, we own this thing, or even this person, I own this my kid, I own them and they should be like a certain way, or I own this, whatever it is. Basically, what happens is that gets frustrated eventually. Things don't go the way you want them to. You get things you really don't want. So many things. And it basically it's because we're artificially trying to own something that's not ours. Isn't that amazing? No? Yes?
Yeah. So to see the entire world, if I were to practice, the human society is the proprietor of this world. So we're not the proprietors of this world.
Basically, God owns everything. Man has made his own artificial system with money and all this stuff. It's like, okay, well, you work and you make this money, and then you take that money and you give it to him, and then you become the owner of this thing. It's basically man-made. It's just like laws. Like you have man-made laws, and you have laws of nature. Man-made laws, okay, you have to drive 55 miles per hour in this area, and if you don't follow it, well, maybe you get caught, maybe you don't. If you get caught, well, then they're going to charge you $150 or something, and that's what they do. Sometimes you can break that law and nobody would know, and there's no repercussion. But in the laws of nature, you can't break the law, and they're God-given laws. So man-made laws are basically limited, artificial, man-made, and then nature's laws can't be broken, basically. The real laws of nature. Like here's a good one. We had a bunch of squirrels around here. We got a bunch of squirrels and we got a bunch of deer. This deer came up and practically almost licked my hand the other day. I was just standing there. We got deer, squirrels, and they're living somehow by nature's arrangement. All the nuts and the acorns and the trees and stuff that is around by the natural arrangement of the universe, and the squirrels are taken care of. Everything they need to build a house is right there. Their natural abilities and intelligence is inherent in them by intuition, by nature. They know how to reproduce. They know how to go eat. Find stuff to eat. It's like natural in their DNA. Same thing with the deer. Same thing with all the animals. But human beings, because they've gone away from God consciousness and they create all these artificial systems, now we've created such an artificial imposition on us in society. You gotta work, you gotta have this, gotta work this amount to make this amount of money to meet this standard of this social standard, and there's this standard of rent in the area, and things are gonna cost this much according to the economy that we invented, and all this stuff. And then basically, they've created an artificial system that basically enslaves you. So, yeah, basically, you're probably saying, actually, you don't have to follow that, because there's a natural law given. If one devotes himself to Krishna, which is the natural position of a human being, then everything's taken care of. Some people might not say that that's not practical, but you can see people are doing it. Somehow we're alive. Neither one of us work. I mean, we do work for Krishna, and Krishna's made all arrangements. Some people live their entire lives like this.
My dad was like, you cannot go to a temple, you need a long-term plan. You need a plan. And that's true, you need a long-term plan. But that long-term plan can involve going to a temple. My mom was like thinking I was joining a cult, everything like that. It was crazy, but I ended up living at a temple, and I realized it was way happier.
Yeah.
We're just working for Krishna, I'm doing service.
Most people are not going to live in the temple their whole life.
Yeah.
And it is smart to plan one's life out to some degree. And to have a long-term plan is very smart and good. And we should. But even if you want to be a brahmachari in the temple, you should make a long-term plan anyway. We should have a long-term plan. But that being said, it's very interesting to see that some people, some young people, not all young, mostly younger, they just have this calling that they just feel they must listen to. And then they go to a temple, and then they pick up right where they left off in their bhakti yoga.
Yeah.
Like I was like that when I came. I just immediately knew this is what I was born to do. It wasn't even a question. See, this is what I've been looking for the whole time. And still here, somehow.
It was just this drive that got put into me by reading Prabhupada and by wanting to chant, and by chanting all the time probably too.
They tell you that this is not practical, but they cannot disprove it.
Yeah, that's the
In fact, we're seeing living examples of the literal living proof of it every day.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's true.
Hare Krishna. These Bhagavad Gitas are something else.
So stop thinking that human society runs. We're not running the world.
We don't own the world.
We're not like running it.
Almost everything they do is baffled at every step. Like if you actually get into management is insane, even on a little local level. It's crazy out there. Anyway, let's keep hearing a little bit. Yeah, okay. Text 6. Natad basayate suryo nasasanko napavaka yagadva na nivartante tadama paramam mama. That supreme abode of mine is not illumined by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. Purport. The spiritual world, the abode of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, which is known as Krishna Loka, Goloka Vrindavan, is described here. In the spiritual sky, there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, fire, or electricity, because all the planets are self-luminous. We have only one planet in this universe, the sun, which is self-luminous, but all the planets in the spiritual sky are self-luminous. The shining effulgence of all those planets, called Vaikunthas, constitutes the shining sky known as the Brahma Jyoti. Actually, the effulgence is emanating from the planet of Krishna, Goloka Vrindavan. Part of that shining effulgence is covered by the Mahat Tattva, the material world. Other than this, the major portion of that shining sky is full of spiritual planets, which are called Vaikunthas, chief of which is Goloka Vrindavan. As long as the living entity is in this dark material world, he is in conditional life, but as soon as he reaches the spiritual sky by cutting through the false perverted tree of this material world, he becomes liberated. Then there is no chance of his coming back here. In his conditional life, the living entity considers himself to be the lord of this material world, but in his liberated state, he enters into the spiritual kingdom and becomes an associate of the Supreme Lord. There he enjoys eternal bliss, eternal life, and full knowledge. One should be captivated by this information. He should desire to transfer himself to that eternal world and extricate himself from this false reflection of reality. For one who is too much attached to this material world, it is very difficult to cut that attachment. But if he takes to Krishna consciousness, there is a chance of gradually becoming detached. One has to associate himself with devotees, those who are in Krishna consciousness. One should search out a society dedicated to Krishna consciousness and learn how to discharge devotional service. In this way, he can cut off his attachment to the material world. One cannot become detached from the attraction of the material world simply by dressing himself in saffron cloth. He must become attached to the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, one should take it very seriously that devotional service, as described in the 12th chapter, is the only way to get out of this false representation of the real tree. In chapter 14, the contamination of all kinds of processes by material nature is described. Only devotional service is described as purely transcendental. The words paramamama are very important here. Actually, every nook and corner is the property of the Supreme Lord, but the spiritual world is paramam, full of 6 opulences. The Katha Upanishad 2.2.15 also confirms that in the spiritual world there is no need of sunshine, moonshine, or stars. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. For the whole spiritual sky is illuminated by the internal potency of the Supreme Lord. That supreme abode can be achieved only by surrender and by no other means. That's amazing. We have some stuff here. Okay. I'm checking the chat now. And give up our pride, as that is an illusion that makes all things complicated. That's a nice point. Navaneeth. Yes, Upanishad Mantra 1 talks about this, right? Sorry, I didn't see this earlier. Yes, Krishna just calls some way and we come. I am captivated by this information. That's Nakunja. Neat. That's the purpose of human life, to go back to Godhead, Krishna consciousness. Only the human life has the opportunity to end samsara. Oh, such nice comments from you, Prabhuji. Thank you for sharing. Please feel free also to, you can speak if you want. You don't have to. But yeah, sorry, sometimes I can't see it when you type it while I'm reading, but if you do the audio, then I can hear and stop. But really appreciating the comments. Sounds like you guys, I'm here amongst great pundits. I'm humbled. Hare Krishna. Awesome. I'm so glad, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for tuning in. We can hear a little bit more. I'll read one more verse in purport. It's text 7, 15:7.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What is Sri Upanishad?
What is it?
What is verse 1?
The first verse of Sri Upanishad. It's the verse about our quota, is it not?
About the proprietorship.
I don't know it offhand immediately. I used to know this. I can't remember.
It's okay.
Purnam, I can't remember. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay.
If you know it, please type it or say it. Okay. Isha Vashyam Idam Sarvam. Yeah. I can't remember the rest of it, but it's okay. Oops.
I can just say it real quick.
Sure.
Ishavashyamidam sarvam yatkincha jagatyam jagat tena tyaktena bhunjita magrita kasya sviddanam.
Jai.
Very
Hi,
good.
Krista. Do you have a translation?
Yep. Translation. Everything animate or inanimate that is within the universe is controlled and owned by the Lord. One should therefore accept only those things necessary for himself, which are set aside as his quota, and one should not accept other things, knowing well to whom they belong.
Such a good connection. Perfect. Yep. Thank you, Prabhuji. Are your parents ISKCON devotees?
Well, no, they're like Sri Vaishnavas.
Oh, Sri Vaishnavas. That's very nice.
Yep.
Very nice. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Okay, I'm going to hear text 7. Mamaevangsho jivaloke jivabhuta sanatana manasasta nindriyani prakritistani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the 6 senses, which include the mind. Purport. In this verse, the identity of the living being is clearly given. The living entity is the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord eternally. It is not that he assumes individuality in his conditional life and in his liberated state becomes one with the Supreme Lord. He is eternally fragmented. It is clearly said, Sanatanaha. According to the Vedic version, the Supreme Lord manifests and expands himself in innumerable expansions, of which the primary expansions are called Vishnu Tattva, and the secondary expansions are called the living entities. In other words, the Vishnu Tattva is the personal expansion and the living entities are the separated expansions. By his personal expansion, he is manifested in various forms like Lord Ram, Nrsimhadev, Vishnu Murti, and all the predominating deities in the Vaikuntha planets. The separated expansions, the living entities, are eternally servitors. The personal expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the individual identities of the Godhead, are always present. Similarly, the separated expansions of living entities have their identities. As fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, the living entities also have fragmental portions of his qualities, of which independence is one. Every living entity as an individual soul has his personal individuality and a minute form of independence. By misuse of that independence, one becomes a conditioned soul, and by proper use of independence, he is always liberated. In either case, he is qualitatively eternal, as the Supreme Lord is. In his liberated state, he is freed from this material condition, and he is under the engagement of transcendental service to the Lord. In his conditioned life, he is dominated by the material modes of nature, and he forgets the transcendental loving service of the Lord. As a result, he has to struggle very hard to maintain his existence in the material world. The living entities, not only human beings, but the cats and dogs. Not only human beings and the cats and dogs, but even the greater controllers of the material world, Brahma, Lord Shiva, and even Vishnu, are all parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord. They are all eternal, not temporary manifestations. The word karshati, struggling or grappling hard, is very significant. The conditioned soul is bound up as though shackled by iron chains. He is bound up by the false ego, and the mind is the chief agent which is driving him in this material existence. When the mind is in the mode of goodness, his activities are good. When the mind is in the mode of passion, his activities are troublesome. And when the mind is in the mode of ignorance, he travels in the lower species of life. It is clear, however, in this verse that the conditioned soul is covered by the material body with the mind and the senses. And when he is liberated, this material covering perishes. But his spiritual body manifests itself in its individual capacity. The following information is there in the Madhyadinayana Shruti. Savai Esha Brahmanishta. I'll skip the prose. It is stated here that when a living entity gives up this material embodiment and enters into the spiritual world, he revives his spiritual body. And in his spiritual body, he can see the Supreme Personality of Godhead face to face. He can hear and speak to him face to face, and he can understand the Supreme Personality as he is. From Smriti, also it is understood, Vasanti Yatra Purushaha, Sarve Vaikunta Murtayaha. In the spiritual planets, everyone lives in bodies featured like the Supreme Personality of Godheads. As far as bodily construction is concerned, there is no difference between the part and parcel living entities and the expansions of Vishnu Murti. In other words, at liberation, the living entity gets a spiritual body by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The words Mamai Vangshaha, fragmental parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are also very significant. The fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is not like some material broken part. We have already understood in the second chapter that the spirit cannot be cut into pieces. This fragment is not materially conceived. It is not like matter, which can be cut into pieces and joined together again. That conception is not applicable here because the Sanskrit word sanatana, eternal, is used. The fragmental portion is eternal. It is also stated in the beginning of the second chapter that in each and every individual body, the fragmental portion of the Supreme Lord is present. Dehinosmin yata dehe. That fragmental portion, when liberated from the bodily entanglement, revives its original spiritual body in the spiritual sky and a spiritual planet, and enjoys association with the Supreme Lord. It is, however, understood here that the living entity, being the fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is qualitatively one with the Lord, just as the parts and parcels of gold are also gold. Srila Prabhupada ki
Jay.
So we'll take any final discussion points, but we're going to end the reading part here. Prabhuji says 15.7 talks about how conditioned beings suffer. Feel free if you care to elaborate more.
So it talks about like how they suffer to control the six senses, including the mind.
Right. Struggling very hard with the six senses, which include the mind. Right. Yeah, in Prabhupada's purport, he was emphasizing, or he was going more into the understanding the, the Sambandha Gyan of the living entity and the Lord in terms of, understanding that they're a fragmental portion, but it's not, not materially. And, having that difference, the Lord is not struggling with his senses or his mind like we do, the little jiva souls here in the material world. That's a clear indicator of that we're not God, basically. It's one point.
And there's one interesting point about Jiva Bhuta Sanatana part. So it just says that our individuality, it continues after we are out of this material body, even with the Lord. So our individuality, like we're still the same fragmental parts. So we don't go and merge into Godhead like the Mayavada theory.
Correct. Very good point. Right. Just like in chapter 2 also. The verse before Dihinas Minyata Dehe, I can't remember how it starts. Prabhuji, you're on top of it, you probably know. Natvivaham jatu nasam natvam neme jnadipaha. Nachayavana bhavishyamaha sarve vayam atta param. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor you, nor all these kings, nor in the future shall any of us cease to be. And Prabhupada really elaborates on the purport on that one. Exact point.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. I just forgot the verse too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I think it's a very simple topic to understand, but it's amazing to see sometimes people, just because of pride or ego or what have you, won't accept it, because a lot of people really just want to be God themselves, and this won't allow them to do that. You know, the concept that they merge or whatever. You know, therefore we merge, so therefore we are God, so therefore I am God, basically. A lot of times. Yeah, and then like we just read, I think 2 purports ago, basically the only way to get granted access into Goloka Dham is surrender. Surrender. And that's the opposite of almost what everybody is trying to do in the material world. They're trying to dominate. They're trying to own. It's amazing, isn't it? In the material world, everybody wants to be the boss. It's the highest position. And spiritually, the highest position is Das. They want to be, it's almost like in the material world, the perceived lowest position is spiritually the highest, and vice versa. Prabhuji, we're so glad that you joined us. We really appreciate your knowledge and association.
I just have a little bit. I just turned it recently, so I don't have that much. It's just a
No,
bit.
wonderful, Prabhuji. I have a few friends who are Sri Vaishnavas, and every single one of my friends as a Sri Vaishnava was a serious pundit. So I really respect Sri Vaishnavas. I really respect anybody who is taking the time and effort to learn the Shastra, and that's amazing, and it's rare. You know, most everybody is going the opposite way. You know, so that's amazing, Prabhuji.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jai, Hare Krishna. So let's see, no other points from Nakunja here. So we will end here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Vansha Kalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. So Prabhuji, if you want, we do this every day. And if you want, maybe you can correspond with Adam. We have a WhatsApp group. We do it at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like New York time. So you're more than welcome anytime. We'd love to have you. We're going through systematically through Bhagavad Gita. Then we'll go into Srimad Bhagavatam, and that's it. We'll just keep going.
Okay, Harimo.
All right, thank you. All right, well, I'm gonna end the recording now. All right, Krishna.
Hare Krishna.